Hello, welcome back to Talking Giants, brought to you by SeatGeek and the New York Football Giants, who are 1-4, taking on the 4-1 Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football at MetLife Stadium. My friend and co-host Sean Marash, you will be there for a pregame show. You are all over the tri-state area. You're all over the place. You're at Yankee Stadium. You're at MetLife. You're here. You're there. You're everywhere. Sean, we're going to play a football game on Thursday, and it'll be something. How are you doing, my friend?
It will be something. Yes, Justin. Very busy week in the New York sports scene for sure. And a little recommendation out there to anybody looking to, get their wives or girlfriends pregnant at any point. Okay. Just time it out. October baby's not exactly great. Got my kid's 4th birthday coming up Friday, so I'm going to be extra tired off a giant Thursday night game plus a bunch of baseball. If you're a sports fan, October baby, you don't want to do that. So just time that out. Whatever those 9 months are, not a spot. Get some condoms, and away we go.
Do you think all the Giants big men planned out that they were going to have their babies all at the same time? Because it started with Greg Van Roten and Jermaine Illuminor, and then Aaron Stinney got involved in there, and then we all got worried that Dexter Lawrence was going to miss a football game thanks to me.
Yeah. It's a good point, Justin. It's funny. I tried to time that out as well. That felt like an early December pregnancy watch for a lot of those guys. So I wonder if that was just like, hey, Drew Lock's playing, honey. We need to have some fun. Yeah. I think so.
I need to take out my frustration somehow.
What a frisky start to the pod. Justin, before we break everything down, can I ask you for 1 minute of time here for a second? Because I feel like I need to respond to the masses of Talking Giants on Instagram here for a second.
Now, you can respond to the masses of Talking Giants on Instagram. But I'm gonna implore you in the future you don't feel like you got to do this, because who are you answering to? Who do you have to answer to?
So you're right. However, I actually really like the talk. Part of the reason I love the Talking Giants listeners, and I say this seriously, I'm not trying to kiss ass because I have no reason to, is because before 4 weeks ago or 4 episodes ago, I was a Talking Giants listener. Yeah. You know what I mean? That is how our friendship started. It is a show I like. So I was one of these creatures on Instagram. Guys, when I argued with Justin in the post-game pod that it was year 1, I just want to make this very clear. I don't mean that for Joe Shane. I think he's done a pretty terrible job at figuring out certain aspects of this roster for sure. Sure, just like Dave Gettleman, he's had a couple hits here, but way more misses. So I want to make that clear. And if it's only 1 year with Brian Daboll and Jaxson Dart, I'm fine. And I trust Jaxson Dart after 2 games enough to think he'll survive with another head coach if we move on. So I'm not telling you Brian Daboll is to stay because Jaxson Dart. All I was trying to say about year 1 was, I think you need to watch Giant games in 2025 in a different prism from which you watch 2024, 23, and 22 with, in terms of everything is on the table with a rookie quarterback and an offense and getting used to it, even if some of the same problems you've seen in the last 3 years drive you crazy. I'm sorry if that was too nuanced. That's all I had to get off my chest. I was not imploring everybody that we need 3 more years of Shane and Daboll as a result of Jaxson Dart. That was not my intention.
Yeah, and I think where my brain is at right now is, just beat down by years of bad football that I'm not ready to give anybody the benefit of the doubt of, I can just wipe my brain clean and think of this as year 1 with this new direction. I can't do that, Sean. And we talk so much on our reaction streams, and especially when you and I are together, what we'll typically lead off with is Jaxson Dart, because you came on and Jaxson Dart's announced as the franchise quarterback. Jaxson Dart is announced as the starting quarterback, and then boom, you and I start together, which was awesome and really good timing. So every time that we really have hopped on together, we've talked Giants offense, and then I've talked about the Giants defense. I feel like in game reaction pods, sometimes it's in passing when the offense is such a paramount and such an important discussion, right?
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I had a solo show, which I get, and I understand why solo shows can sometimes be a rough to listen to, especially when I can go on for 40 to 50 minutes just yapping by myself. So I understand that it's a really difficult listen, but I thought I did a really good job of breaking down. I think this is even after week 2 of how and why Shane Bowen is failing his players. Is something vibrating in your
I just muted it. Can I be honest with the audience again? I don't want to have a comedy of errors here.
What was that?
where I have my little home studio here, sometimes I pivot and I bring it over in front of like my big TV wall, and behind me is my laundry room, and I forgot I had the dryer going, and it just ended, so it's buzzing because I like to do laundry as I watch Yankee games.
It's fair. 2.5 minute breaks in between innings.
It's easy.
But yeah, no, I was talking about how Shane Bowen's letting his defense down, and Sean, I think my anger this year, because it really is anger. It's not just disappointment and sadness. This year it really is anger, because we were sold a bill of goods, and I especially fell for it, and offensively, defensively, and just so much shit has gone wrong in a span of just a little over around a month. So much shit has gone wrong, and it basically is already over. And the only thing that you're hanging hope by a thread of Jaxson Dart without Malik Neighbors. But defensively, Sean, I always find myself Sunday game reaction getting more like, all right, let's talk about the offense, like I said. But then it gets to Tuesday, Wednesday, look at stats, watch film, and I have found myself infuriated at the state of this defense. And not just because they aren't playing well as a unit, Sean, but because there are players on this defense, and specifically this defensive front, that are playing great ball right now, and they are an awful, awful defense. So I'm now, once again, middle of the week, so pissed off at Shane Bowen and this defense.
Well, look, and you have people that go out there and watch tape, and I'll be honest with you, there's plenty of people on Twitter that many of you follow that I've just gotten to learn, because I've very luckily had the benefit of getting to watch tape with Tiki freaking Barber, who lives for this stuff, where I realize some of the people we listen to on Twitter don't exactly know what they're looking at, but we still have the same result, which is Shane Bowen's not very good at this.
No,
he's not a very good defensive coordinator. And I think if you want to simple this down, we know Brian Burns is a good player. We think Kayvon Thibodeau is a good enough player. We know Dexter Lawrence is a good player. We know that Abdul Carter is showing flashes of being a good player. Bobby Okereke is good enough. Paulson Adebo may not be a number one elite corner, but he's a good enough player. Javon Holland's a good player. I say that to say Drew Phillips, I believe, is a good player. When you have that many guys that you could actually point to and say, when you add it up, those guys are good players, you're not going to have Pro Bowlers at every level, every position, whatever. That is a defense that should be better than it is, and that is 100% on scheme and coaching. That being said, there are guys on this defense that simply are killing any benefit of scheme they can have. And perfect example would be as bad as Shane Bowen is. He had the right cover 4 defense set up on that Shaheed touchdown, and Nubin in his back pedal takes extremely too long, doesn't allow Shaheed to kind of shade towards Holland and cover back over to the sideline. That is terrible. So you're getting a combination of the bad guys you have on defense are making a bad scheme even worse, but the scheme itself is terrible. And look, the Giants win that game again if they don't fumble the ball 3 times, forget the picks, and we kind of look at it. But the problem is this is going to be an offense in massive need of big defensive moments and plays and not lapses. And this is a defense that should be talented enough to do that. So no matter what, the reason they lost that game is because of fumbles. But Justin, to speak to your point, the defense drives you nuts because it has all the tools with the right coaching to be a defense that is unquestionably a top 10 unit in the league, and they stink.
This defense is good enough to take over football games on the front. And that was the expectation this year, is that whenever granted, they faced a gauntlet of quarterbacks to start the season. Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert. Those are 4 pretty damn good quarterbacks to face to start the year. But guess what? You face Spencer Rattler. Your defense should control and dominate the game. 5 turnovers is tough, but even I'm taking the Saints game, not in a vacuum for a second. I'm kind of just looking at the whole season holistically as a whole. Sean, I want to break it down like this. Abdul Carter has the fastest time to pressure out of all edge rushers in the NFL right now with 15. 15 of his 25 pressures are under 3 seconds. Tied for the most in the NFL with Will Anderson Jr. Carter's 25 pressures leads the team, and he has 14 less pass rush snaps than Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, by the way, who have the same amount of pass rush snaps.
Incredible.
Kayvon and Burns, while having the same identical pass rush snaps, also have the same identical number of pressures at 19. And Brian Burns is still tied for third in the NFL in sacks with 5. Along with the numbers, just use your eyes too. All of these guys are playing out of their minds right now. And yeah, even though Dexter Lawrence isn't playing out of his mind himself, I think he is still a really, really good player. Burns and Kayvon have the 5th and 6th most pass rush snaps in the NFL. Abdul Carter's 13th in the NFL. So the problem isn't, they're not getting their good players on the field. They're all getting on the field. If anything, the problem is that they're all on the field too much because they should be getting off the field. So now it's time for my favorite exercise.
All right.
Sean, the 2025 Giants defense. Let's look at their first down performance versus their second and third down performance. On first down, they are 11th in yards per play, 11th best. They are 8th in success rate, 8th best. They are 9th in first down rate, 21st in EPA per play. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What that tells me is maybe they're penalized a lot, and maybe they allow a lot of big plays. But still, 11th yards per play, 8th in success rate, 9th in first down rate. That's pretty damn good, Sean. I tell you that, and I tell you that in August. Are you signing with the questions that you have about this run defense in August? If I tell you they're 11th, 8th, and 9th in those 3 categories, are you taking that?
I'm taking it, and I'm just assuming they're penalized a bunch. That is what I'm going with. Okay.
Now, if I told you, Sean, that through the first 5 weeks of the season, after playing 4 quarterbacks that include Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert, that they were forcing those offenses on second and third down to be 6th highest in most average yards to go on second and third down. What would your reaction be, Sean, about this defense?
I missed that.
If you're averaging the 6th most average yards,
there's a lot of numbers you're throwing at me like Zach Galifianakis here.
Second and third down. This is what these midweek episodes
6th most. If you're averaging the 6th most, that's bad.
That's bad for the offense. That's good for your defense. Yes. So guess what? Holy shit, this pass rush is teeing off.
So
we're putting the quarterback on the ground, and this defense is kick ass. They're kick ass, right?
All right. I see where we're going.
The plan.
Okay. I love it, Justin. You're cooking. Now let's get the third down.
Second and third down performance. They are 25th in yards per play. They are 29th in first down rate. They are 28th in EPA per play. They are 31st in success rate. And, it gets even better. They have a total of 5 sacks on second and third down this year. That is tied for 29th in the league, Sean. That is tied for being 4th worst in the National Football League.
Not good enough with that pass rush.
If I told you those numbers without telling you the first down numbers, you would be like, man, this rush defense is terrible.
I would ask you what week Brian Burns got hurt in.
This or even Dexter Lawrence.
Right.
This rush defense is so horrible that they're so bad on early downs that they are not allowing this pass rush to really tee off and get after it. Nope. It is the exact opposite. That is embarrassing, Sean. 5 sacks on second and third down when the Giants defense has run 208 plays on second and third down. That is the most in the NFL. With this pass rush is 100% embarrassing. They run cover 1 over 50% of the time. They don't disguise anything. Spencer Rattler was right.
He knew it.
Defensive coordinator does nothing to provide them an advantage.
He called it. And I think the more alarming thing is not that Shane Bowen goes into a game with a plan with his cover 1 defense, right? To me, the most alarming thing is there's no chess match to be had in game. The Saints come in with a plan. Let's just take last week, for example, where Spencer Rattler, I believe he ended up being, out of all 32 quarterbacks to start, the quickest time of release for last week specifically. I could have that wrong. Top 5 nonetheless. They had a very easy plan, which was ball out of the hands as soon as you can. We're not going to let the Giant pass rush dominate our crappy, beat-up offensive line. So if an offensive guru like Kellen Moore is doing that, and Doug Nussmeier is doing that, it is on Shane Bowen to kind of volley back and alleviate this. Only he doesn't get out of his cover 1, and this team consistently, even in some of these quick game passes, misses tackles constantly, which I still don't understand how we are in another year with Shane Bowen where do you guys practice wrapping up at like the most basic football fundamental stuff on defense? Forget the coverage and everything. The missed tackles kill you too. How many of these plays that should be a 2-yard gain turn into a 6-yard gain, a 7-yard gain, a 12-yard gain? Maybe you have those stats in front of you, but at least to my eyes, that feels like that is happening constantly.
Yeah, I mean, and why I hyped up that the solo pod that I did, midweek solo pod that I did earlier in the year is, a lot of the things Filato had a really good clip earlier in the week talking about this defense and really breaking it down. And
Nick was all over it earlier in the week.
But something that I even said in that same episode of how Shane Bowen is failing his players is that what they're doing on the back end is hurting what their players are doing on the front end. Yes, Tyler Nubin, not great, but I still think the majority of the players, Deonte Banks comes on the field and kills you more times than not.
Why does he come on the field on third down? If Cordell Flott and Adebo, at worst, are at least good number 2 corners right now in the NFL, even if you don't have a number 1, why would you take one of those guys off to fit Deonte Banks on third? Like, it doesn't even make sense. If Banks isn't good enough on first and second down, maybe you're worried about his run support or whatever, he's not good enough to play on these passing downs on third down.
Yeah, I don't know whoever is making that decision and holding on to it.
It makes no sense.
It has to stop. And that person deserves to be held accountable for that decision. And, I think I hate that I'm maybe not remembering the beat reporter that hinted at it, but, it certainly would not surprise me if that is even just like a Brian Dable type of, nope, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put him in on third downs and just see what he's got.
Dude, honestly, I wouldn't do this anyway. But if you're going to treat it that way, I would rather you treat that cornerback position like you treat the running back position where Devin Singletary comes in for a series and just like give Deonte Banks the flow of a series. I'm not telling you I would do that. I'm just saying I think that is a better alternative to getting snaps on the field for Deonte Banks.
I agree.
Here's third down. Let's bring Deonte Banks out there to take a penalty.
They've done that in the past before. Like remember Nick McLeod would come in and then he would check out the Cordell.
I live with that. I live with that. And you know what? If that takes a series for another guy to come on the bench and he's looking at tape because you don't really have an answer, like it's not a great answer, but it's a better answer to what they're doing right now. You're taking one of your better 2 corners off the field to get Deonte Banks on at times, unless you're in dimes coverage.
All right, before we keep going with the preview pod, I got to talk to you about SeatGeek because the MLB playoffs are officially here. The NFL is in full swing, and artists like the Jonas Brothers and Billie Eilish are on tour right now with SeatGeek, the MLB's official ticket marketplace. Your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app in the world. You know that each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal. Just like for those green dots, because green means good and red means bad. And also on a real note, SeatGeek has been the presenting sponsor of this show over the last couple of years. So use code JMPlayoffs for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. If you use that code, more likely that SeatGeek is able to still continue to partner with us, and they'll like us because they like when you use our codes, because then also you save money too. 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. 10% off any tickets with promo code JMPlayoffs. Thank you to SeatGeek as always. So this is all this to say that, the players aren't innocent in this. And the game of football is nuanced, where I feel like I had this at the end of our show notes, but I'll bring it up now. I honestly feel like Giants content creators need to stop arguing with Carl Banks, because what they'll do on that show is, instead of talking about the game, what Carl Banks and Bob Papa will do on their show is they will talk about fans' reactions to the game. That's what they will do on their show. And granted that's what they do. And hey, if you're a show that's got to be different, but stop arguing. It's almost like if I'm arguing to the Giants about somebody who's speaking Mandarin, and I'm trying to tell them that Shane Bowen's defense is not good, doesn't disguise things, and it's just boring. Fucking boring, and they speak Mandarin and they can understand me. That's what it's like, because they're not going to change their mind because they speak Mandarin.
This is what's so stupid about this whole thing with Banks and Bob Papa and the fans, is that we all feel the same way and want the same thing, but yet we argue about the path on how we got there. Right? Like, I have no doubt that Carl Banks and Bob Papa are sick and tired of calling terrible football games. I have no doubt about that. I've met and been around Carl enough to know that. I also have no doubt, and I've been very beneficial to be able to work with some really good athletes on my end and stuff, that, and I mentioned this kind of earlier, some of the stuff, you might do. I know Nick does a good job of it. Bobby's done a good job of it. Watching tape that some of these athletes like Carl Banks and Tiki Barber specifically, what I see them look at with tape is not always what I'm hearing on the other end or watching other people go over. And I think that there is like a certain pride. And I think athletes just know and football players just know, what you've learned doing high school football is not necessarily how it works in the NFL. But in the end, whatever we're looking at, whatever football language we're all speaking here, former players, fans, we're getting to the same point. So the idea of after the game arguing about the nuances of all of this stuff, Carl, does the team stink and are they not playing well enough on defense? Are we saying the right thing? Yes. Fans, are we saying the right thing? Yes. We do. And Carl, to his credit, he wants to spar on Twitter. Just stop arguing with Carl Banks because in the end, that's it. That the end result is he's going to see things his way through an athlete's point of view. And I don't blame
nobody's going to change anybody's mind.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to change your mind. You're not going to change his mind. I do respect that he goes back at it with fans a little bit, but it's not like Carl Banks wants the team to win 3 games though either. And I think people interpret it that way. He can't stand that the team is winning this. He's close to the players. I'm sure that when you get in the mix, that's where Bob Papa was wrong a couple weeks ago. When you're close to players in the locker room, that doesn't mean, oh, well, you have a better vantage point of it. No, you could be blinded by a lot of stuff and be a little more hesitant to criticize certain things that people are seeing. It's nonsense. We all want the same thing as Giants content creators. The team stinks for a million reasons. Stop worrying about how they got there.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to go into like all that because, again, all this is to say I feel like this front four, Dexter Lawrence, is not playing like his out-of-mind defensive player of the year type of stealth. I still think he is a really good player. And I think part of the problem is that even if you looked at Dex's sacks last year, like Abdul Carter's like time to pressure is really quick. Dexter Lawrence being 340 pounds and also being double teamed as much as he is and it's just tougher to get to the quarterback as quick when you're coming from the nose tackle spot and defensive tackles. I mean, it's just the way that football works. The time to pressure, time to sack stats that are going to be faster for edge rushers that have way more speed, that they are naturally just faster football players, and they're also just moving faster path to the quarterback versus nose tackles that basically have to go straight through somebody and 300 pounds of men right in front of you. Maybe sometimes even 450 pounds if you got 1.5 guys on you or 2 guys on you, right? So I still like Dexter Lawrence while not playing like this all-pro
I don't think he's in shape, be honest with you.
I
think that's his problem. He does not.
I also am afraid that elbow may be messed up too.
I know. Look, the elbow might be, and he went back for work on it. And in the Saint game, I think though and he was sick last week too, which hurt his snap count and everything. I believe the elbow set back his, getting in shape for the season thing, and I think he relied too much on veteran stuff. He just looks like he's huffing and puffing too much out there, more than he's favoring the elbow. And
also I'll tell you this too. Like I remember there was one conversation that we had where I told you Dexter Lawrence's snap share, and it surprised you. Dude, it says 340 pounds on Pro Football Reference. He's over 340 pounds.
He's one of the biggest human beings I've ever been around in my life.
And he's played 65% of the snaps this year. That's now I feel like it was higher. So maybe it's gone down a little bit.
I think it has gone down.
I think the Saints game went down a little bit. I could look it up game by game, but
as long as we're here, can I say I'm always the first to bring up a positive. We've railed for quite a long time on Shane Bowen. Can I bring up a positive about the defense and Dexter Lawrence and 65% snaps?
Saints game, it was 47%, but before that, it was 70, 69, 65, and 71. So before that, he was playing 66, 67% of the snaps, which is a lot, man. That is a lot for a big man like that.
A lot big man. And it comes down big time because he was sick in this game, and that hurt. And he tried to gut it out, and you won't hear that. I will say, though, and this is where I worry about Shane Bowen hurting a player in development, and we talk about coaches hurting development. One guy that has come along, Darius Alexander, and his snap share the last 3 weeks and what he's done on tape, he's really starting to pop a lot too. And I'm anxious to see that the rest of the year, either sliding in at points when Dex is off the field or next to Dex in the middle of that defense.
Yeah, if Darius Alexander has a couple plays that make you go, huh, against the Eagles on Thursday night, with that line that they got and the way that they moved together, and that'll make me go, huh, not just beaten up because the Chargers line was compromised, which, hey, I will take if you're beaten up on compromised lines.
It should be as a rookie.
from what we were thinking, watching, and maybe, Sean, I didn't really talk to you a lot during training camp, but man, what I was seeing there is like, oh my God, this
felt like a swing and a miss as a pick.
You want to talk about a guy that didn't look like he had energy and didn't look like he had life and didn't even look like a deer in the headlights. That's what Darius Alexander kind of looks like, but luckily your NFL career isn't defined by what you do in the preseason and during training camp. So we'll say Darius Alexander. But yeah, good positive signs. This defensive line, I think, again, playing out of their minds, and it is their defensive coordinator that is not refusing to put put more responsibility on their secondary players.
Yep.
That is not allowing this front to tee off as much as they should. And it is so damn frustrating that it is being set up for them on a silver platter to have this elite pass rush that could take over football games. The sixth most average yards to go in the NFL on second and third down. Opposing offenses are the Giants are eighth in success rate. The Giants defenses on first down. And that it couldn't have been painted in a better picture and set up in a better way, Sean, for this defense to have success and to go off and to be a top 10 unit and a dominant unit. Instead, they are a bottom 4, bottom 5 unit, depending on the week.
It's
embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Anytime you could make sure that you're focusing on Deonte Banks and Tyler Nubin making plays instead of your best playmakers, you just have to run a defense that way. Yep. That's the best way to do it.
And what's the most frustrating part about all this, Sean? The coach knew it after last year. The owner knew it after last year. And instead of just, they worried about optics so much, they should have just fired him. Fuck optics. And I am 1,000% convinced that even if you couldn't find a good defensive coordinator, you would find someone better than Shane Bowen, because they're a bottom 5 unit. Look at what Anthony Campanelli would have been a hometown, perfect, beautiful story. Anthony Campanelli with the Jacksonville Jaguars just beat Patrick Mahomes on primetime, and the Jaguars are 4-1. Former Don Bosco defense coordinator, and the Campanelli family is known around Rutgers and Bergen Catholic. Like, that would have been such like a fun little story. It maybe would have been laughed at in the moment. And look at what he's doing with that Jaguars defense with way less talent than what the Giants have right now.
Well, you might get that fun little story as the head coach at the end of the year too. So more on that. Yeah. More on that. The defense stinks. I mean, what else? And it's going to continue to stink, but we'll worry about that in post-game pods.
Eagles offense.
How about the emergency meeting? Did you see that? Did? Saquon, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts had to have a sit-down meeting with each other, I believe, on Monday night.
I don't consider that a team meeting, though.
No, but it's a what is going on between the three of us meeting.
Yeah. I mean, I fully expect they're coming off a game where there was criticism of, we're not running the ball enough. We need to find our identity on offense. And now they're facing the defense that has allowed the 4th most yards per attempt in the league, and they're 30th in EPA per rush. So I am expecting Saquon Barkley to get this ball 30 times Thursday night, Sean.
It's a really weird situation with the Eagles offense, Justin. My gut tells me you're right. And why wouldn't you, right? I mean, no rushing yards in that 4th quarter. However, he did, Saquon Barkley, on Monday pop on that injury report on a short week with a knee injury. Yeah. So these short week games on Thursday night, while we feel like we have not been a part of the NFL as Giant fans, and usually it's just like whatever happens on Thursday, we're playing some hard team because it's prime time, they're going to kill us, and that could set up well here. What typically happens is running back usage gets a little more split up on these Thursday night games because of the beating they might have taken on the previous Sunday. So I am curious, with the Eagles' design, is this going to be a spot where they try to actually make everybody think they're going to run into the ground, but Saquon's a little banged up. They're going to bring in a little Shipley, but really it's about, hey, let's finally get A.J. Brown happy and start targeting some of these corners and freaking cover one, and then boom, a couple big plays over the top, and this suddenly becomes actually the Eagle big passing game while we're all sitting back waiting on the run.
Yeah, I guess it depends on Barkley's health, which I don't which I don't have like a ton of insight on that. Besides,
we don't either because it's a short week. It's the biggest wild card of the whole game. I think he's going to play, but is a guy who pops on a knee injury on a Monday really going to go get the ball 30 times and try to run it down the Giants' teeth in a game that you would think you could do other things to beat the New York Giants and not have to do that?
Still have A.J. Dillon and Tank Bigsby, and Tank Bigsby's a big play threat. Right. A.J. Dillon's just going to be a guy that's going to bruise you between the tackles. So, I mean, even
I said Shipley. I forgot they got Bigsby. Good point.
Yeah. Well, they probably will go to Shipley even more often than not. But I think regardless of who they have, I think they could have success. This has been a weird year for Barkley. He averaged last year 4 yards before contact. I think the actual number was 3.7, which is nuts. There are running backs in the NFL that average 3.7 yards per carry, let alone 3.7 yards before contact. That has not been the case for Saquon Barkley, because last year he had 829 yards before contact, 207 more than any other running back since at least 2017. Barkley so far this year has totaled just 47 rushing yards before contact, and that's 27th most among running backs. And his yards after contact is down too. He has the 5th fewest among 34 running backs with at least 40 carries this year. So that's why if he plays and if they feel like he's all right, you can go and you can get a workload, I think he's going to get the workload, because if there's any team that I feel like, oh my God, I've never seen such a successful team be so dysfunctional in terms of their locker room and their chemistry and what's going on and how do they cave to what the fans are saying and what the fans want. It's unbelievable. So if they're saying that the Broncos last week, they didn't run the ball enough, they're throwing the ball too much, Jalen Hurts isn't as effective, I think they may just say, well, guess what? Fuck you. We're never going to throw the ball. We are just going to run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, but the Broncos' pass defense is better than the Giants' pass defense. I'm just leaning in. I think they picked the wrong week to try to make their receivers. Devontae Smith finally had a big week to try to make their receivers happy, and it feels like Nick Sirianni's just trying to be a people pleaser right now to get through this season and play real Eagle football in the postseason. I look, it's a typical. Everybody's going to zig on the run game in this, and I totally get it. I'm very worried that we're going to be yelling and screaming about, there's a pass interference because A.J. Brown, they go over the top, and that we walk away going, wait, you held Saquon Barkley to 69 yards and you still lost the game by 17 points? How the hell did that happen? Oh, the pass rush didn't get home, and Shane Bowen's whole philosophy sucked again? Like, that is what I feel like we're gearing towards.
You know what they've done over the last couple of years that I've actually liked? They've put Cordell Flott on A.J. Brown. Yeah,
and he's been okay. Flott's a better player than I think everybody around the Giants who isn't in the locker room thinks he is.
I think he should get a second contract.
I do too, because he's not going to break the bank.
No, not at all.
I think he's going to be a total affordable. And by the way, corner depth, not a bad thing to have, even if you add another corner in the offseason.
For sure. And this is where I think Devontae Smith usually kills us. And this is where I think if you're going to put Cordell Flott on A.J. Brown, which means you're giving safety help to A.J. Brown, because it probably isn't just the smartest move to – it's almost like what they did with Jamar Chase last year. Cordell Flott versus Jamar Chase. Well, why is that happening? It's because, we're giving safety help, so then T. Higgins and everybody else can go off. And I think it's the same here, where Devontae Smith, it just kills the Giants usually.
Yeah, you're right. Give safety help, and we're doing all this here with Smith and Brown. Do you know why the Giants are going to lose this game on defense? You're going to give the safety help. Who the hell is covering Dallas Goedert in this game? Look at Saquon. Look at Brown. Look at Smith. Yeah, he has been. First of all, this is going to be a classic Giants get killed with a tight end. This is Bobby Okereke turning around and trying to run upfield with Goddard written all over it, and it's going to be a mess.
Jalen Hurts has a sack rate that's almost 10%. That surprised me. So maybe put him on the ground. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great too. If you can't tell, I'm not exuding a lot of confidence in how we're going to handle the Eagle offense.
We'll get to talking about the Giants offense next, and my leading thought will hopefully make you laugh. But Sean, before we get to that, I got to talk to you about Shopify, because this video is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify is the best place to start and grow a business, which is why we partner with them here at John Boy Media. John Boy Media has relaunched our merch store on Shopify with our new /line site, and it was a dream. We brought the ideas, and Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. life really is a touchdown when you have Shopify on your side. Shopify, Sidekick, Shopify Magic, and the suite of AI tools are a total game changer. It's revolutionizing the way you can build and manage a business. You'll have your own AI assistant guiding you on everything: directions, reports, editing images, content ideas. Shopify's got your next move covered. If you're ready to take that business idea from a draft to a reality, it's time to head over to shopify.com/giants. Shopify is the perfect partner for any business roster, so make sure that they're on yours today. Thanks, Shopify. Shop.drummedia.com. Search football on the site. Maybe there's a tab, maybe there's not. Search football. There's a whole new Talking Giants line. I got to get you some Talking Giants shirts, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. I'm wearing a Haynes tee here, so that's really nice.
Any other no other notes on Giants defense versus Eagles offense?
No, it's bland Shane Bowen, and it's pick your poison. And you're leaning on run game, I'm leaning on pass game, and again, we forget that Dallas Goedert's sitting there. And just in my core, in my gut, before we get into the offense, it just feels like the end of this game, we're going to be screaming more about, can you believe this freaking defense had this Eagle offense wake up like this, more so than we're going to be yelling about an offense with no wide receivers.
I want to talk about Abdul Carter, even if he doesn't get a sack. I want to make sure that I'm watching Abdul Carter doing whatever he's going to do against those Eagle tackles. And I want to walk away being like, you know what? Test passed. Right. That's what I want to walk out with the Giants defense Thursday night.
Yeah, and just real quickly, him on the lack of sacks too.
Oh, I don't mind that.
I don't mind it either. Also, earlier in the year, you could tell some of the finishing stuff, the hand up in the face, like he was guarding a 3-point shot, maybe scared of taking a rough on the passer. Like, he could have had a couple sacks earlier that I think he's now at the point through week 5 where he gets some of those same plays that he got in week 1, 2, 3. He's going to finish and get the sacks. They're about to come.
Yeah, I mean, but he's getting pressure. He's getting a shit ton of pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah. Hurry the throws. That's it.
He is playing like a stud. So I'm excited about that. Giants offense versus this Eagles defense, Sean. There's certain things to talk about, like after watching the Saints game a little bit more, that the 12 personnel plan and the throwing out of 2 tight ends and kind of these max protect sets and trying to throw deep. Like it's stuff that I like, and it's stuff that was working, obviously, until it didn't work when you start turning over the ball, and then the game turns into not a game neutral situation, and you need to throw the ball with 3 wide receivers on the field, and they just don't have the personnel to do that. So
bottom line is this: after rewatching the Saint game, the plan was totally fine. Like, this is where I actually will give Kafka and Dable a little credit on offense. There was nothing schematically wrong with what the Giants were doing. In fact, they kept answering the bell after every turnover and getting right back down there with what they were doing. The problem is the tight ends are fine. No wide receiver on this team wants to fight for a football. Bo Collins' effort at the end was atrocious. Jalen Hyatt was atrocious. And before the injury, Darius Slayton is just, everything's got to be handed right to him. There's no fighting for the football. We expect it to happen, and I know it's not the greatest answer in the world because somebody else would have picked him up if it was a great answer. Lil Jordan Humphrey is a contested guy that will fight for a football, just needs to be here. And I think he immediately needs to be elevated to a guy, especially if Slayton's hampered, where he's like wide receiver 1 on this team in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Dable indicated that they probably will make an in-house move at wide receiver. Also added to the injury report is Darius Slayton, who, if Darius Slayton cannot play, he was also a DNP, did not practice on Tuesday. So we'll see on Wednesday if he's still on the injury report and whatever that status is.
You're going to get a lot of 12 personnel no matter what.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know how, if Slayton doesn't play, you trot out there Bo Collins and Jalen Hyatt on a short week versus the Eagles and expect anything to change as far as their effort and everything. This has to be Lil Jordan Humphrey jumping to the front of the line.
Yeah, but I don't care if you're playing the Saints or you're playing the Eagles. Like, you have to be prepared for a possibility that you're going to be down by 10 points, 14 points in the second half, and to not have 3 wide, to not be able to run out of 11 personnel confidently is unacceptable in 2025.
The one thing, and again, at the time we are recording this, Justin, we don't know because of all the short week stuff, but you saw it happen at the end of last week with the practice. It might be too much to ask, but man, if this team could ever get Tyrone Tracy back, I actually think you could get ultra uber creative with the converted receiver into a running back where him and Scadaboo are being used on the field at the same time. And if that means
that's not an answer for me, though.
But you could split Tracy out. He could fit that like pseudo other slot role. I think he could be a player in the pass game for this team.
Yeah, the answer for me is not let's move Tyrone Tracy to wide receiver.
No, it's not moving him to wide receiver, but it's getting creative with your two running backs on the field at the same time. Motion a guy, like just be creative.
Yeah.
Be creative and put your best football players on the field in a time of crisis. And it is a time of crisis in terms of weapons.
And regardless of whether Slayton, I kind of don't like how it was Pat Leonard that indicated, and this is what Dable said, so I'm just, Pat Leonard.
Was this before or after Pat asked Dable about the gloves from Cam Scadaboo?
Oh, dude, the Friday Beers account of the Twitter
I like
account.
Friday Beers, yeah.
It quote tweeted Talking Giants, because I clipped up Cam Scadaboo saying, I need new gloves. So then the Friday Beers account quote tweeted and said, I know another running back who had an issue with gloves.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good stuff. But Leonard kind of hinted that Dable said that they're going to make an in-house move at wide receiver if Darius Slayton can't play. That move should be made regardless. But
I'm with. Well, also, even if Darius Slayton can play, how are you, again, short week has a lot to do with this. How are you relying on him to make it through 4 quarters and assume that he's getting through that game healthy on a short week?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no matter what, that in-house move should be made.
Yeah. Jermaine Illuminor was also a do not practice on Tuesday. So that would suck because he's had a really good season. The Saints game was probably his worst game so far this year, but I'm not over like this Giants pass blocking unit has been really damn good.
It has, but don't you feel a little better than in past years in like, okay, well, that means Marcus Bowe gets to step up and play a game at right time.
Yeah, I don't love that his first game against the Eagles and Vic Fangio, but
I agree, but don't we all admit it's better than what we're used to? Like it's survivable now.
But I am excited to see Marcus Bowe play football at right tackle.
Yeah. I'm not telling you won't get beat and won't have a couple bad moments, but I stomach an Illuminor missing a game a lot better now, knowing that, hey, we might actually have a decent swing tackle on this team.
And you did mention that Tyrone Tracy was limited, which he's probably trending towards playing if he's limited on Tuesday.
Well, also you didn't put him on IR, so this would be the 3rd week missed if he missed it, in a 4-week minimum. So,
do you really want to go in a 3rd week in a row on a short week with only 2 running backs?
No, not at all.
Well, it's not what you want, but they probably would do it if they had to. They love playing. They love what is it? I love to live dangerously. What's that from?
Yeah. I don't know. And so I'm probably gonna get killed for that.
I think it's a famous.
I love to live dangerously.
I also live dangerously.
There's somebody
like a famous
screaming right now as they're listening to this.
Damn it!
This fat ass never heard that line. This is why I don't listen to the fan anymore.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna give you my expectation for Jaxson Dart. Are you ready?
Yeah. What do you got?
My expectation for Jaxson Dart is to not get too sad. There will get to a point in this game where he is mad, and then he's going to get sad. I don't want him to get too sad. Thoughts?
I don't want him to get too sad. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get sad, dude.
No, so you think he's gonna stay mad? I think this could be so.
I think he channels his anger into like enthusiasm. I don't think he's gonna be pouty.
No.
He's not a powder.
But it'll be like 30-10, and he'll be mad when everything first starts to get wrong, and then he's gonna get sad, and then he'll be in his clear glasses, his transparent glasses after the game. He'll be really sad like a puppy.
How about this? How about just go play well, do your job, don't fumble the ball like that, and then walk away from the game with your head up held high and proud. So I understand. I don't want to see my quarterback all upset, but I think Jaxson Dart is actually pretty sandpaper tough in being able to escape these games and say the right things afterwards and make the right corrections. And I keep pointing to this. My biggest positive about Jaxson Dart, what he did wrong in game 1, his biggest issue about not slotting, he corrected ahead of game 2. He has already shown us signs. Whatever he felt bad about game 2, I think he will come into this game and correct even on a short week, and I think he's going to have the right headset. And if they still lose the game by 20 points, I don't think he's going to get pouty and sad. I don't. I actually trust this kid. I'm excited about Dart.
You could be right.
Dude, can I also just tell you, while neither you and I am sensing, and we haven't given a pick yet, believe this is going to happen, could you imagine a world we're living in where Jaxson Dart beats the Eagles in his first start out of nowhere?
No, I cannot imagine.
I can't imagine it either, but it's allowed to happen. We could live in that world. That world does exist out there.
I'll give you it's allowed. But
it's in the rules that Jaxson Dart could win. And what would
it is? It is technically allowed that the Giants can win this game.
Would we be saying he's sad and pouty then if that happens?
No, he would be happy, which then in turn would make me happy.
Okay, good.
So that's my desire for Jaxson Dart. I don't know. Yeah, you're playing Vic Fangio. The Eagles' defense isn't as dominant as it was last year, but it's still good. They're good. They're good on third downs. They're good on fourth downs, and they're good in the red zone. They're top 3 inside the red zone. They're the fourth best on fourth down, and they're ninth best on third down. So, hey, much like every game, first and second down is going to be really important. Run the ball. Hey, this will be really the first game that you get a chance to see an established Cam Scatterbo with whatever Tyrone Tracy's going to give you, and how you can balance that out. So that's maybe exciting there.
Super excited for that one Devin Singletary drive we'll get when you have Scatterbo and Tracy healthy. That should be really fun too.
I'm going to read you a Jaxson Dart first half and second half splits over the last 2 weeks, and I really hope that this doesn't turn into more of a talking point as the weeks go on.
Okay.
Because it was a talking point for him in college.
Okay, that's good background.
Over the last 2 weeks, Jaxson Dart first half versus second half splits. In the first half, he's 10th in EPA per play. He's 3rd in success rate, and he's also top 10 in average air yards too. So I put that nugget in there as, he's good in success rate and good in EPA per play, and he's not just check down Charlie throwing screens. It's also top 10 in average air yards. So really good in the first half.
Really good, yeah. Comes in prepared with a pre-script and goes for it.
Second half, 31st out of 34 quarterbacks in EPA per play and 29th in success rate. So it's a 2-week sample size, and one of those games he fumbled and threw 2 interceptions in the second half. But I am just throwing that out there, and maybe that is something that we will update weekly if we feel like we need to continue to talk about it more.
All right, I don't blame you for doing that, especially because you did in college. My counterpoint would be game 1, they came in with a game plan, which was Malik Neighbors is your best player. This is your first start. We're going to design everything for him. He gets hurt. You don't have him for the second half. I think that kills your EPA per play.
And they were also winning the game.
They're right, winning the game. Game 2, as far as EPA per play, you had no trust that any wide receiver was going to make a play on a football for you.
And you get killed for turnovers you get killed for
turnovers. And they turn the ball over 5 straight times. Yeah. And again, those last 2 turnovers, Bo Collins stops running. The other one is basically a punt, and the fumbles are inexcusable. Don't get me wrong, but one of those is obviously on Cam Scatterbo and Slayton. So I can't. Now it could be a trend we continue. I kind of throw that stat out. No offense, right now, based on knowing the context of those 2 weeks and what happened.
It's one of those things that I intentionally said at the 46-minute mark. That is something that we will keep our eye on.
46 minutes? Jeez, time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun. Touchdown draft.
Ooh, yeah.
Sean, I don't have the spreadsheet up. Sean, we both went 1 for 3 last week. I know that much. And it basically, the odds was basically the exact same for you and I. Okay. You got Theo Johnson.
Nice.
At plus 295. And I was able to get Rashid Shaheed at plus 275. So the score is basically the same, because I hit the previous week against the Chargers on Quentin Johnston and Theo Johnson with this plus 550 odds. The week prior, I still have around a 230-point lead over you.
All right, I like it. I like the strategy behind this game now too.
So I had the first pick last week for the touchdown draft. Sean Marash, you have the first pick in the brand new Talking Giants touchdown draft with Sean Marash and Just Pennick.
All right, and for the last time I asked, inside the top 6, we can only take one.
Inside the top 5, since there's nobody. If the person who was 5th was tied with the person in 6, then I would say top 6. But
Say
top
no
5
more.
this week is they're all different.
Say no more. I'm taking Dallas Goedert, who's at the 6th best odds of plus 255.
Okay. Dallas Goedert off the board. Off the freaking board. Oh, man. I mean, there's 2 players inside really, there's 3 players inside the top 5 that I'm very confident in getting a touchdown. But it's a matter of, do I want to play it safe? Because, I think Jalen Hurts is going to get a rushing touchdown. But he's the favorite at minus 140. So even if I hit that, it's like, all right, well, how many points am I really getting for that?
Mm-hmm.
Barkley is second at minus 165. He is 100% scoring since it's another revenge game. I am going to put Devontae Smith, though. That is going to be my one pick inside the top 5 at plus 250. I didn't even look at stats of this, but I just think he kills the Giants. And knowing that they're probably going to do a lot to stop the big play threat of A.J. Brown, they probably will leave. If Devontae Smith is ever in the slot, it'll be Drew Phillips, and then Devontae Smith versus Paulson Adebo is what I think that they're going to do. And I think Devontae Smith could get Paulson Adebo at times. So give me Devontae Smith at plus 250. I cannot take anybody in the top 5 now.
This is so good. You've now played into my hands.
Yeah, I have.
Because now I know, why would I waste a pick on the top 5? Might as well go block you out here. Why wouldn't I go back to Red Hot Theo Johnson at plus 390?
Love it. His odds is going up week by week.
Let's do it.
Theo Johnson plus 390. Am I going to take a single Giant this week is the major question. You know what? This guy was he was by the way, it was plus 1100 last week. He was a yard away from getting a touchdown. And I almost felt like a genius. The odds are up from last week. It was plus 1100 last week. Now Daniel Bellinger is plus 950. Believe it or not, Jalen Hyatt plus 700. Why does Daniel Bellinger have worse odds than Jalen Hyatt to catch a touchdown? I don't know. I'll take Daniel Bellinger at plus 950 and really go for it.
I think I'm going to do something crazy. I don't think I'm going to take anybody inside the top 5, even though I know I can.
I think this is the second week in a row you're not taking top 5.
Well, because I think the strategy here works. Like I think if you're going to play the odds, I'm going to throw the darts here. No pun intended. Give me Jahan Dotson over Drew Phillips at plus 900.
Oh, by the way.
What do you got?
Late to tell you this now after you made your last pick. I did take a screenshot of more odds.
And?
Like Bo Collins is plus 750. Oh no, I didn't include him. Bo Collins is plus 750.
Oh yeah, and what is little Jordan Humphrey? Because he's not active, he's probably not listed.
No, he's not listed.
And we had Taysom Hill not listed last week. All right, it is what it is. I'm still happy.
Grant Calcaterra is plus 1200 if I want to get crazy. No, Xavier Gibson revenge game plus 1700, even though Xavier Gibson never suited up for the Giants.
That'd be an FU to the Giants and Jet fans.
Chris Manhertz at plus 1900, Cameron Latu at plus 2800. No, I'm not going with any of them. Man, do I really take like an AJ Dillon over Jaxson Dart?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you have to ask yourself a question: are the Giants scoring in this game? And if they are,
no, and that's why I don't think. But also,
what a sad sentence to say, too.
But also, like this is, I made such a dumb rule. I made such a dumb rule that you can't take anybody inside the top 5. AJ Dillon only has 11 carries. Will Shipley only has 4.
It's not a dumb rule. The rule works, but when you go
makes the game more difficult.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon only has 11 carries this year, 58 yards though.
Thick legs.
Screw it. I am taking 2 Giants. Jaxson Dart. Welcome to the squad. 2
Giants in a touchdown draft versus
the Eagles.
That's a winning strategy, Cotton.
All right, so to recap, Sean, you have Dallas Goedert, Theo Johnson, and Jahan Dotson. I have Devontae Smith, Daniel Bellinger, and Jaxson Dart.
I think I'm winning this week, Justin.
I think you're winning this week.
Little spoiler alert.
I think Dallas Goedert leading out of everybody here, 4 touchdowns on the year so far.
You know this is a Dallas Goedert game.
and
We've
he's
seen this game.
sixth. He's plus 255, which is 6 for this game. That's great value that you got with the first pick.
We've seen this game.
Great value. I want to give a quick shout out to Nike. We have an awesome new partnership with them. So go check out our affiliate link in the description below to shop some amazing Nike gear. All right. So now we can talk about this at the end. Did you read the Ryan Dunleavy Barkley article, and are you going to watch the Saquon Barkley documentary?
Yeah, I mean, my phone blew up with this on Thursday. My gut tells me I'm not going to watch the Saquon Barkley documentary, at least right now, not around Giants-Eagles week. I'm a sucker for NFL stuff, like documentary-wise to begin with. I did read the Dunleavy article. I do think that, of course, there are going to be portions of the Giants that look bad, but I got to be honest with you. Maybe I'm a hater, and that's fine. I think some of those quotes, Saquon ends up looking really bad in it too. So maybe I get a little hate watch out of it. And I have no doubt Saquon's like a good dude or whatever, but he comes across as a very soft baby in here. And the thing I'm interested in when you see the stuff about, well, the owner won't even let you have a trade or whatever. How much of that kind of plays into my feelings, which were GM and coach, were they fully allowed to do everything they really, really wanted to do for 2 years? And I think that's why we're in a year 4 for everybody who wants to scream and yell about a year 4. I think it's a whole thing here. But I got to be real with you, man. God bless Saquon. I found he kept a running diary that's part of this for like 5 years. Like, good for you, dude. I'm just like a year and a half later. I'm genuinely over the Saquon stuff. Like, I just genuinely am. You're an Eagle. You won a Super Bowl there. I don't need more. Like, we know the Giants stink. I just don't need more of that fodder in my life. I have enough toxic sports crap in my life.
Yeah, I'm with you. And even towards the end of Barkley's tenure, dude, it just, I disagreed with the draft picks so much, and he lost so much when he was here. I never had a huge emotional investment in Saquon Barkley. Like, almost seeing him in Eagle Green, it almost makes sense to me.
I think that's a great way to put it. And you know how you said earlier, I forgot what we were referencing about, it was the Carl Banks stuff, that you're never going to sway somebody in an argument one way or another. If you're somebody,
it's the same thing with this, by the way. It's the same thing with this.
That's what I'm saying. If you're somebody that in October 2025 still thinks the Giants made a mistake letting Saquon walk, there's going to never be convincing you.
Yeah.
For me, Saquon Barkley, to no fault of his own, he was drafted here in a bad spot. We didn't have the offensive line for it. He had 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons in 6 years. That is not good for a guy drafted second overall, and it wasn't all his fault. Injuries, whatnot. Guys like that generally don't age well when you sign them to longer-term deals, and the Giants, I think, needed to kind of execute this out and figure out and bring in a new – and I'm happy with Cam Scatterbo. I'm happy with Tyrone Tracy. No matter what, him winning a Super Bowl with the Eagles doesn't bother me that he was a former Giant. It bothers me because I don't like the Eagles winning Super Bowls. So, nothing about this documentary is going to make me like, man, the Giants really should have kept him. I still don't think it would have been the right move for the organization to keep him. Now, you could bring up Darius Slayton's contract and everything else. I don't think it was the right move to keep Saquon Barkley. And this documentary is not going to convince me otherwise.
What this documentary is going to do, and I think it will have an impact on the Giants now, I think it's going to make Joe Schoen look like a complete dick.
Maybe. But even if we don't like Joe Schoen and we're ready for him to get fired or whatever, don't you kind of have to be a dick to be a good GM?
Yeah.
There is some cutthroat stuff, dude. Like we don't get to see – that's the other thing. We don't get to see the cutthroat phone call stuff that every GM has to make.
Yeah, I mean, the Nick McLeod, don't pay your rent next month, buddy, is that's awful. It's bad.
It's also part of the business, dude.
I know it's part of the business, but
Timon Fox is getting shuffled left and right. I mean, we don't think that's kind of dickish that happens to a guy?
All right, but that's different. That's bottom of the barrel.
When Nick McLeod was bottom of the barrel, they literally brought him from bottom of the barrel.
Nick, I don't know, but telling a player that I don't like telling a player like that when everybody says it's a people business, and I don't know.
I agree. I'm not defending Joe Schoen because I don't really think he's a good GM. I just think you'd be surprised at how many GMs probably operate that way.
Yeah. And I think it'll be good for us as fans who want people who run the Giants to make what they perceive as a difficult decision in possibly having to let him go. Because I think honestly, more than winning football games, I don't doubt that the people in the Giants building want to win football games.
Right.
Obviously, everybody wants to win, right?
Yeah.
But you're not very good at it. So what you care more about right now is the optics of how you lose. Because you're not good at winning. You're really good at losing. So now you have to get good at, well, how can we lose gracefully and quietly? And between offseason hard knocks, Saquon Barkley leaving, Daniel Jones leaving, everybody leaving and getting better, and also this documentary coming out that is going to make your GM look like a complete dick, in my opinion. We'll see. But I just think it's just one of those things that will add more cherries on top. And honestly, like I hope the Giants make a decision, the right decision, that they are perceiving as a difficult one right now, which it honestly should not be a difficult decision because they should have made it back in January. So that's that, man.
In fact, I'm upset we even spent 7 minutes talking about this documentary. Damn it, they did it again, those stupid NFL people.
Eagles-Giants prediction.
All right. Am I going first?
You're going first.
I think the Giants are going to tease us for like a half. I even think the Giants could have a lead in this game.
Maybe.
I think that the Eagle problems are real, but ultimately this just screams a game that feels like the Chief game did, and the fourth quarter is a pull-away spot. Give me the Eagles to win 27-16.
I think I said 30-10 earlier, and I like that. That came from a place that just came from my heart. So I am going to say Eagles 30, Giants 10.
Okay. Hey, I sat there through that crap game last year. I think you did as well. So,
and I very much can see us. Hey, they're a good. Mike Kafka's done a great job with his opening script and first couple drives. I could very much see them starting off hot. Maybe the Eagles don't have it completely together right away, and then they're just gonna shake themselves and be like, well, you know what? We're a kick-ass team, and we have kick-ass players that are just flat out better than them. So we're just going to start kicking their ass and doing simple things that we know that will beat them. And that's what they'll do.
Great. I got good news, everybody. We can take a Sunday off.
Yes, and we'll be live on Thursday night recapping everything. We will see you then. Let's go Giants. Sean, you're going to be at the stadium for the game?
Yeah, if you care to pop by American Dream, the Dream Bar, you'll meet Tiki Barber, the entire Evan Tiki crew will be out there doing a full tailgate show 2 to 6:15 from the Dream Bar at American Dream.
You should be there at I would, for a primetime game, I would get to the stadium at 12:30. So you should also be getting there at 12:30, or else you are late. Let's go Giants. We'll see you Thursday night for a recap. Thanks for watching.